Hi guys, I just saw the video from Kentucky Ballistics where this poor awesome guy managed to blow up his Serbo firearms, what's the name, BM50 or something like that, single shot 50 PMG. He fired slap rounds, I'll get into what that is if you don't know, and he got a catastrophic detonation of the firearm and got seriously, actually this guy should be dead. There might actually be a god, and that god loves this person. This almost converted me from atheism to whatever he believes in. Seriously though, watch his video. I'll link it in the description before we continue this video. I'll wait. Okay, welcome back. Anyway, he should be thankful because that was a close call. Anyway, let's do this. Boop boop. Okay, so that's the guy, that's the 50 BMG. I'm not gonna play the video, you can watch it yourselves. So you see that it's not that much left of him, and he got cut open and all that. Watch his video for the full description of that. I'm trying to figure out what actually happened. So according to him, everything worked kind of fine until he switched ammunition to some recently bought slap rounds in caliber 50 BMG or 12.7 times. I'm gonna shut off my phone, god damn it. There we go. So he got some new rounds that he wasn't certain where the rounds were from, according to him, what I've read online and also this video. So apparently something was wrong with the cartridge. He did everything correct. He had safety glasses on and all that good stuff. So let's have a look at what a slap round is. So here we have the information on a slap round. As you can see, the projectile is quite light. So it's a saboted light armor penetrator, a slap. So what that means is that you have a smaller caliber projectile in a plastic housing. That means it's lighter, so you want that. So it has a tungsten penetrator. Basically a tungsten dart in a plastic housing. So when you under calibrate for the caliber, you will get higher velocities. This isn't an issue in and of itself. This should actually help. If there's a barrel obstruction, you have a plastic sleeve that can shear off. I do not believe it was an obstruction in the barrel because he fired a regular round before and that didn't show any issues. This was something with the load, with the powder, if my theory is correct. So this is actually like half the weight of a regular 50 BMG. So usually they're up to like 700 grains. And this is 355 to 360 grains, which is half. Yeah, so that's basically all we need to know about this. So 355 to 360 grains. Let's have a look at Vitavuri reloading data for the 50 BMG. So if you take one of the more common ones, the AMAX from Hornady, if you want to use a 50 BMG for long range shooting, for example, not just throw shit down range using surplus ammo. This is the gunpowder Vitavuri recommends. And I happen to have the manual here where I can look up what kind of powders these are. So let's start from the bottom, 20N29. Let's see which one is that. Does it have it here? Powders for the 50 BMG. For the 50 BMG, there are two special Vitavuri reloading powders available. 24N41, 20N29. They are like the N100 series, single base surface treated powders. Their burning rate is slower and grain size larger. So larger grain size means that it burns slower, usually. There's other concerns as well. But if you have very fine, like dust-like gunpowder, it will just burn up immediately. But if it's bigger flakes, compared to making a fire, big logs will burn slower than tinder. Anyway, The renewed relative burning rate of the 24N41 is 39 and that of the 20N29 respectively 36. When N110 is given the index 100 and therefore blah 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 blah, the 24N41 is slightly faster burning than the 20N29. There is reloading data available for some other magazine, blah 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 blah. Yeah, so what they're saying in the manual for Vitavuri is that they have special gunpowder with a especially slow burning rate. So what that means is that you have a really, really long barrel for a 50 BMG to get the most out of that caliber. And the slow burning of it will accelerate this very, very heavy bullet along the barrel until it hits the target. N170 is regular gunpowder, but it's the slowest of the regular ones. So, whoops, wrong window. Let's have a look at quick load. So I put in, let's see here, barrel length, let's just take 26 inches. Actually, let's see what they use for reference for Vitavuri. Test barrel, 45 inches. I'm not sure what length he had. I think 26 inches is more applicable for his rifle. And let's just see what... So the heavier the bullet, the higher the pressure will become as well. And the P max for, according to CIP for 50 BMG, is 53,664 psi or 3,700 bar. You don't want to go above that. In the video he says that he talked to Mark Serbo, the designer of his firearm, and he said that the end plug that flew away and damaged his face, for that to shear off, it would have to be above 85,000 psi. So I'm going to check which gunpowder they might have used to get that high of a pressure, because even if you compress the load using 50 BMG powder, you won't reach that level of pressure. So let's start with setting the grains for the bullet weight to 360. No, not 3,000. Right. So let's just magically say that the AMAX is 360 grains just for experimental purposes, and let's choose the Vitavuri gunpowder for that. Let's double check what kind of loads do they want with AMAX. Here we are with which one did I choose? 24N41. So the suggested starting load is about 13 grains and the maximum load 14 grains. So let's just take the maximum load 14.13. I have too many windows open. 14. Is it really 14 grains though? No, 14 grams. I thought it was a bit low. It is 218 grains. Right. That explains. 218 grains. Let's check. Okay. So let's move this diagram. That is a very low pressure curve actually. And it's only filled to 88%. I'm not sure what kind of load that would be. Could that really be the maximum load? Yeah. But they have a longer barrel, so that would give you more pressure. So let's jump this up to 260 grains. Now it is a compressed load with this gunpowder that's meant to be used for 50 BMG. And see, it's filled to 105.6%, which means that the bullet will compress the load. And still, it is in the yellow zone. It's not even in the red zone. Here is above maximum pressure for the cartridge. This is the danger zone. This is the you're gonna explode zone if it didn't have any safety features, basically, which all of these firearms have. When you test firearms, you're gonna do like 130% load and see if it can handle 130% of the pressure for the cartridge, something around that. I don't remember the exact numbers, but they do test the firearms with this for this, and this is in the perfectly safe zone, and I'm still compressing the load. what can happen is if you're reloading several different calibers and you're reloading for handguns, you're going to get that fine dust powder I talked about, which will give a sudden increase in pressures, because pistol barrels are like this long and the 50 BMG barrel is a lot longer. So yeah, let's take a Vitavuri handgun powder and see what happens. I usually use Vitavuri 340 and 340 when reloading for 9mm and 357 Magnums. See, this pressure curve is catastrophical. If you use this gunpowder instead, let's just take a conservative amount of grains here. Let's take 200. Still gonna explode in like a big fireball. Let's take like 100 grains, which is 65% fill. The firearm would probably survive, but you're gonna have to take it to a gunsmith to get it apart. It's gonna just get stuck and twisted, but it won't kill you probably if it's well made, which I do know servo firearms are well made. That guy knows what he's doing. This is not even half of the recommended load. Let's just do a conservative load. If it were a real gunpowder, like 160 or something, a slightly compressed load. This load you wouldn't notice if you didn't actually look at the gunpowder. You wouldn't notice that it's compressed or starting to fall out of the casing. You could still load this. 160 grains, and remember, 160 grains. The starting load for this is 200 grains for this load. So 160 is low, and it's still 140,000 psi pressure immediately, because this is just gonna instantly explode. That is the point of pistol powder. You need an extremely sudden pressure spike to get it out of this short barrel, the pistol rounds. And you can see in the video, I think I proved my point, so I'm gonna switch camera. Yeah, so I think I proved my point on what probably happened. Someone reloaded these slap rounds and managed to fuck up and got pistol powder in it instead of rifle powder. This is my theory, and this is the hill I die on. Anyway, when you watch the video from him and you see the firearm explode, it's instant. As soon as he presses the trigger, it just flies apart. If it were something else, the barrel would banana peel. If it was an obstruction, the barrel would banana peel. I've seen that countless times as well. But this is just so immediate. So the pressure usually follows the bullet outside of the barrel, but it's such a sudden pressure spike, so the firearm explodes backwards into his body, basically. And this is what happens when you use pistol powder. And the worst case scenario is using pistol powder in a 50 BMG, because you can fit so much of it in there. Yeah. Anyway, that is my theory. And looking at quick load, it seems reasonable and logic to assume this is what happened. Anyway, have a nice day. Stay safe, and if you reload, double check which gunpowder you use if you reload both for handguns and rifles, and always be super anal when reloading. This could be you if you are a reloader. Just saying, be careful. I'm watching the wrong camera, ain't I? Yeah. See you guys. Stay safe.